Welcome to Skeptical Scott and Friends. If you ever rethought what you were taught and said, I don't think that anymore, well, then this place is for you. And I do mean place, as many in the secular space can feel like they don't belong. But guess what, listener? You do belong, and that's what we're talking about today. Please join us as we drop the supernatural, embrace the rational, and believe in as many true things as possible. From the east side to the west, today we've got the best. It's Kellie King, affiliate leader for Black Nonbelievers, as well as the treasurer for Michigan Atheists. Kellie is also host for Secular Activism Unfiltered. Please welcome to the show the Detroit Atheist Queen, Kellie King.
I love that intro. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Hey, you bet. Hey, anything to add to what you just heard?
I'm also part of a group that's on the DAM network called Java and Jugs. That's a podcast I did with 7 other women.
Come on, Java and Jugs. What a great name.
Java,
Who came up with that? Who came up with that?
I did not think of the name. I did not think of the name, but I do love it.
I do too.
It's just aired Mondays from 9 a.m. to 11 Eastern Standard Time. And me and AJ, who's also been a guest.
Oh, AJ, yes.
She's also a host on there as well.
So I'm welcome to listen to that?
Yes, please do.
So when my wife sees Java and Jugs, she knows it's not, you know.
She can definitely listen too.
That's right. I'll bring her along.
Yeah, bring her along. Yes. We have enough just for everybody.
Well, hey, Kellie, when we met, I mean, I feel like this has been a couple years in the making. Yeah. And I met you in Troy, Michigan. That moment was special for me because I feel like that was the very first time I stepped out. You know what I mean? I stepped out into a secular meeting space and just kind of was soaking it all in, you know? Oh. What do you remember? I want to say we're at the IHOP.
We were at the IHOP. Yes, we were.
That's right.
And I remember you sitting in, it was in that corner booth and Steve introduced us. At that time, I'm just in my local group. Yeah. So I knew people like Steve and Anthony and Tamara and Chris and stuff and people in the group, but I had not been outside of that Michigan bubble.
Yeah. Well, and that was definitely my first time meeting everybody because I'm on the west side of Michigan.
Oh, so you? Okay.
Yeah. I was there with a guy named Chris. So that was my first time actually meeting a lot of those people, including Steve, by the way.
Oh, I thought you already knew Steve.
I kind of knew him. He had reached out. He was one of my first guests, actually. I think he was the first interview. But, he's such a connector that even when he just meets you, he's going to introduce you to somebody else. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Or maybe he just had the interview with you because he was trying to get me to be interviewed by you then. He was like, this is Kellie. She has to be interviewed too.
That's him. That's what he does.
Yeah. I was like, what? No, I don't. And I was like, I've never been interviewed before. I don't think.
You're like, what is
I would have anything important to say to be interviewed for. That was my thought process at the time.
I'm glad you said that because I think a lot of people feel that way. Like, who am I? Who am I to be here trying to do this podcast thing or what story do I have to tell? And, the reality is, you do have a story to tell. Just like everyone in the Christian sphere is, pushed to share their testimony. I call it a questimony. And that's kind of where I'm going with you. So let's start there, okay? In terms of, Kellie, where'd you grow up? And then what would you say your relationship to religion was in, let's say, first 18 years of your life?
I was born and raised in Detroit. They consider it the West Side.
The 313.
313, yes.
616 right here. Yeah.
Hey. But I grew up in my area was Black and Jewish community. Mm-hmm. But then the Jewish ended up moving further and further. But it was a few that didn't want to leave. They were there. They weren't going to go nowhere. And just to have the rich knowledge that I had to live across the street from a Holocaust survivor. If people know Detroit, I would consider the gospel capital of the world.
Mm-hmm.
So many gospel singers have come from here. My mother taught several of the gospel singers.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So Winans, Clark Sisters, Commission, Fred Hammond, personally know them. I can actually call Mama Winans today.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
It's a good reminder for listeners outside this area. I mean, that's Motown Central, but also gospel Central.
Like, the Clark Sisters, Maddie Moss, their mother, I called her my grandma. Mm-hmm. So she wasn't my real grandma watched me, but if my real grandma wasn't a bind and can do it, that's the house I would go over to.
Mm-hmm.
So that's who I was familiar with. I consider myself a religious mutt, growing up. Mm-hmm. Now, my maternal grandmother, I would say, was the first one I remember mentioning religion to me. And I can push myself 4, maybe 5. But I can remember our conversation as if it was yesterday. Clear as day, everything that was said. And it started off talking about evolution. Do you believe something came from nothing? That's a weird thing to say to a 4-year-old.
That is a weird thing to say to a 4 or 5-year-old.
But that's exactly how she started it off. I said, well, that sounds stupid. How can something come from thin air, Grandma? Mm-hmm. She ends up handing me the children's Bible. Mm-hmm. And I remember reading this Bible. And my grandma said, this is what's real. And some of them stories was like horrific. Because I remember like looking at like Abraham and he had, Isaac on the thing,
Oh, right.
And I was like,
yeah, he's about to kill his son as a sign of, I will do what you say, no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you think like, was he schizophrenic?
Yeah.
Now you think about that, but at the time, my grandma says it really must be real. So I did go to Catholic school. Mm-hmm. And I would say because I was there 5 days a week, and then we had mass twice a week in the morning before school, I kind of more indoctrinated into the Catholic, because I actually got baptized Catholic. I did not get baptized as a Baptist, because my mom realized that maybe I was 3rd or 4th grade, that if you are indoctrinated in the Catholic Church, then your tuition is 50% off. So we officially became Catholic. Though my grandmas and stuff still was Baptist, and I had one aunt that also was Catholic. But even though they both were Catholic, my aunt's church spoke Latin the whole service.
Oh my gosh.
Ours only did certain, and we had to take Latin as a class. It was a mandatory class we had to take.
Kelly, I was baptized Catholic too. I just didn't know. I didn't know till a lot later. But I did not know that you were in a Catholic school system.
Kindergarten through the 8th grade.
How would you describe it to somebody, especially if they really haven't gone to a Catholic school before?
Man, I'm going back some years.
Uh-huh.
It's been a few years since I graduated. I know it, and I look like I just, doesn't look like it.
But like, was it really structured? What did you feel like you fit in? Did you have friends? Were there activities?
If you want to talk about my, with the friendship, no. I had a very bad stuttering problem. I didn't have any friends. I had a few friends, but not many. But they never seemed to be in my class. And then some of the friends that I had, their parents was tired of paying for their tuition. So they ended up going to public schools. The only time that I would see my friends was like on the weekends when we would have our sleepover time. I could fight. Kids in my class would always pick on me, and so I had a teacher. Yes, her name is Helen Green. Definitely not like the Helen Green that we know.
I know. I was like, wow, that's funny. Yeah.
Her name was Helen Green. And so, when the kids was picking on me, why did she single me out and have me, like, I'm such a bad student, and I'm just defending myself.
Right.
So you got the blackboard, the front blackboard and the back blackboard. She would face my desk towards the back blackboard.
Wow.
And I would have to turn my body around to see what I was seeing. And then this is when I was in third grade. And this is when I started not being able to see. I needed glasses. So I really couldn't see anyway from that far. So I'm sitting there. They didn't have letter grades. We had numbers. And I kept getting bad grades because I couldn't see the board. And then I'm sitting here facing this blackboard. I'm just this bad student.
So the love of Jesus in them said, hey, let's just put her way in the back and face her away, and that should cause less problems. Am I getting that right?
Yeah. And I remember I'm thinking I'm at fault because I'm a little kid. I'm at fault, whatever. Mm-hmm. And so I remember my mom was a teacher. She taught about 40 years.
So she knows.
She came in. She knows me. I'm not organized. I'm still unorganized, and I'm 51 years old. So she knew. She was like, where's Kellie's desk? Because she knew she was going to see my desk looking like disarray. But where's Kellie's desk at? And so the teacher pointed to where my desk was. She was still facing the board. And my mom was like, hold up. Are you telling me that you're putting my child facing that board every day? How is she getting to learn anything? She said, and I know my child. My child is a very quiet, reserved child, stays in her room, reads books all day. For you to say that she's this disruptive, that teacher hated me.
Yeah. And that, I'm a teacher too, by the way. My heart's just breaking as you're saying that. And I'm just like, the message to the rest of the students too. The message to the rest of the students,
and
like
it
it's making it even worse, man.
So that's just one example. I got other stories and other things.
Yeah,
like
go for
that.
it.
Yeah. When I was this is first grade. So we're in line, and this girl would always say little stupid stuff to me. She turned around and pulled my hair really hard. And then she said something else stupid. I don't remember what she said, but I remember just socking her right in the nose, and nose are bleeding everything.
Action, reaction.
Yeah. So I remember at this time you could get paddled by the teacher.
Uh-huh.
So I went up to the principal's room, and the principal said I should paddle you. So I'm like, oh, well, you paddle me, my grandma's gonna paddle you. So you better not paddle me. So my grandma, because my mom was there, but my grandma did come over to the school, and she was like, I'm tired of y'all picking. So it started then. But ironically, and this is something, and a few months later, we're playing on the playground, and I'm playing with one of my only friends. Matter of fact, we're still friends to this day. These older boys that came, when you're in Catholic school, a lot of times the public schools like to come bully you. So the two older boys from the public middle schooler, and we're like first grade little kids, and we're little. And one of them comes up to the girl who I just punched maybe a month or so ago and starts messing with her. So I'm no bigger than the other girl, but I come over there and I'm like, hey, leave her the hell alone.
Is this during school or after school?
This was I think they had a half a day or something. Okay. We out for lunch.
Yeah, they got nothing to do. I see.
Yeah. I think they had a half day and we didn't have a day. So they come they come and they mess with this girl, and everybody's watching her to mess with her, not doing anything. So I'm the one that goes over there. The same girl that fought a couple weeks ago, a month ago, whatever. And I'm like, hey, leave her alone. Pick up somebody on side. Now I am 7 years old probably, and they like 14. And I was like hitting them at the back of the leg. They ain't doing nothing to them. But luckily, I have two older cousins that were like football looking, who were about the same age. And they looked up and saw me doing this. So they started looking at me and about to pick me up. So my cousins come.
I'm just trying to picture like how tall you were and stuff at that age.
Yeah.
I'm going to get your knees.
Put this way, the wind blew me down every day because how small I was. I was really skinny. They called me Skinny Minnie. That's not my name anymore. So my cousin was like, what else seems to be the problem? Why you mess with my little cousin for? And so the girl came up to me. Of course, they kind of ran off when they saw my cousins coming and put me down. Then the girl down, they ran off, whatever. They was about to get it. But the next day in the class, she came to me crying. She was like, "You was the only one trying to help me. After I was so mean to you all that time. He was the only one that actually tried to do anything. All those other people that stood around and watched." And my cousin just happened to come out the building around that same time. Because I even remember when my brother...
Yeah, what if, right? What if they weren't...
Yeah, I remember when my brother... So, he's a couple years older than me, but it was sometimes where I think they had like kindergarten through second grade outside. And I was like in the fourth grade, and it was in a fight. I remember looking out the window, seeing mother fighting and jumping up, leaving out the school to go outside to fight.
Yeah, and this was before you could like text each other, "Hey, at 12:30, we're meeting you."
I wasn't supposed to be outside. I was supposed to be inside. But I ran outside, my brother fighting. I ran outside and I jumped outside to get in that fight. But yeah, but that girl, she was like, "Kelly, I don't know, I was so mean to you all these years. For those 2 years, kindergarten, first grade, I was so mean to you. And you were the only one that looked out to help me." Because I saw the difference. It's a little deeper story because it was, I'm going to say, it could have been SA for what they were trying to do to that girl.
Is there such a difference between middle school and your age? Something in you just said, "Oh no. Mm-mm."
Yeah.
It was that quick of a response.
It had to be.
Yeah. And so you're saying the other girl, that she had been mean to you?
She was when I punched in the nose. She was pulling my hair and stuff.
And then you still came to her rescue is what I'm trying to say, I guess, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that showed her something. Wow.
Yeah.
When you think of kindergarten through 8th grade, then 1 to 10, 10 meaning, "Oh man, it was such a great experience. I loved it there." 1 meaning, "I can't believe I went there. I wish I'd never been there." Like, what would you put it on a 1 to 10 scale?
4 or 5.
Yeah, not so
4
good.
or 5.
So
4 or 5.
when you enter high school, when did spirituality ever become important to you? That's what I want to ask.
Oh, I was a big church goer, but my mom, even though my mom, talks religious and stuff like that, it was like I said, my grandma would go to church with her every Sunday. And I would sit there. But church to me as a child was fun because I would go to Sunday school and we would sing Father Abraham and all that good stuff and this little out of mine and whatever. So when I had to go to the actual service, the certain situation, we had to be in the congregation thing. And I was like, it's too much. But I would say to me, when I officially started getting into church for myself was, and not going because I went on my own, was in high school.
Okay. You just said something interesting, which was going to church was actually kind of fun.
It was.
Because I want to think about what school was like. And so like, this is the one day, this is the one day I can run around and play and not feel like something bad's going to happen, I guess. Right.
And I had one friend and I was talking about those summer parties that we had, little girls' weekends. And so one of my friends happened to be friends of another friend because she went to another Catholic school. So she lived in a neighborhood of one of my best friend. So I met her through her. And so we found out we was in the church together. We was like, man, we can hang out.
Yeah. Because
we really clicked. And actually, for a while, we did not talk to the friend that connected us together for years. But she sadly passed from breast cancer. My friend, when I met. But yeah, me and her connected since we were like in the second grade, and we still remain friends all those years.
Yeah.
And but yeah, so able to see her on Sunday, that was amazing. And she actually stayed in that church the whole life. She never left.
So when you said in high school, you ended up going on your own, like when you mean like it was your idea, I want to go to this, is that what you mean?
Yeah. Well, small ironic story. So so you got your high school, then you have your vocational centers that you go to. So I ended up going to this vocational center. They call it Bright Hop. I don't know if you heard of it.
Well, I understand like a technical, like a career skills. It's being able to leave right from school to already be certified in something or go right into the workforce, right?
Yeah. So you got to meet like a different array of different kids because they all went from different high school. I live on the west side, so the west side school was in the daytime, and then the afternoon kids went the afternoon, whatever.
But yeah, you're meeting students from all over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I remember sometimes I ended up going in with the afternoon group for some things, and actually I did not like the kids in my class.
Yeah.
Too much. The afternoon kids was way more better. We got along so much better. We were going on a field trip. I got to meet some kids that were not in my class. They were just for different vocations. And I think it was the ones who were like the top in their division or something like that. We went on a field trip, whatever. One of the guys came in and he was like, "Hey, anybody wants to come to my church?" So I'm like, "Yeah, I'm going to a church, whatever, and we're going to do Bible studies." Bible study did not end up being the way I thought it was going to be. I'm thinking it was going to be like at a church and you're going to do a Bible study. But no, we ended up meeting 3 ladies, and we went into a restaurant and they got me something to eat. And we did Bible studies over like that. And then it started to go to my house. I went to their house and we would spend an hour or two doing the Bible study. Now, I don't know if you heard of the International Church of Christ.
I have,
but, but that's
tell our audience about that.
That's what that church was. That's what the church that I joined. Yes. When you first go, they are so nice. Mm-hmm. They're so willing to help you and to do all this stuff. Eventually, once you become baptized, it starts to change where they have no time for you. I'm like, remember you said we was going to go to lunch?
Is this what my sister in Christ does?
Well, we're so busy. So, because I was a minor, it took my mom time for me to get baptized. So eventually she did accept me to become baptized. Okay. And so I went and but I remember as I got baptized, sitting there, like, everybody was sitting there. Oh, the Holy Spirit just came and I could feel it. And I'm excited. The Holy Spirit's going to feel this way. No. And I remember just sitting there after I got baptized, like, I don't feel nothing.
What everyone was talking about, I don't see it. I don't feel it.
What is this? Mm-hmm. What is this? Now they had what you call discipleship leaders.
Okay. Yeah.
Depending and the zone. So depending what area you live in, the state you lived in, the area, whatever, it's one church. So we end up meeting either Livonia or Novi, something like that. Livonia and Novi, one of them. They rented the building to offer the time space. It was a Seventh-day Adventist church that was on South End and 12-1. That's where it was. Then eventually we ended up going to Livonia because it was bigger. So I got baptized in an old horse trough.
Wow. That's different.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of the people that was not maybe in our zone, but they lived like in a farm. So yeah, that's why I got baptized in that.
And is that when you were like, okay, I'm supposed to feel something? Did you feel something? Did it feel important?
No, I didn't feel anything. Yeah. So I remember Sunday, because my discipleship, the male is, and he was like, "Hey, Kellie, how you feeling?" I kind of fucking, I was like, I don't know why, but I'm not feeling like everybody else is feeling. So he ended up showing me some scriptures and stuff. 2 Peter, you have to crave spiritual milk or something like that. And that was a gift that he showed me. Like, you have to be like an infant. And you're not doing that. That's probably why you're not feeling the Holy Spirit. You're not craving that.
The problem's you is what I hear, right? The problem is you.
Me. I was the problem, whatever. But I still kept going in this church.
Yeah. Friends are there.
Several other people that also was on the bus became baptized too.
Yeah.
And so we would it was like a connection. all of us end up making it to VICABO, which is Vocational Industrial Clubs of America.
Okay. It's like a competition?
And the state competition, from what I remember from the whole time I was in it, was always in Grand Rapids. So we would always go there for the competition, whatever. And then the nationals always in Washington. But I always would make it to nationals, but I never would win. I would get like third place. So you don't want to get anything for third place.
So you got the circle of people who are kind of doing that together, right?
Yeah. And I ended up being in my own skill, which was law enforcement. And then I also got it because we were on the debate team. So several members of the church also were on the debate team and stuff together. I ended up, through all my diligence, basically following what they said. I became the head youth in the church.
You better feel it now then, Kellie. Like you're like a leader now. So it's
I was
like,
a leader.
Okay, what you had said a couple minutes ago, I'm not feeling any different. I'm not feeling it. Did that change when you got that leadership position, or was it just like, I'm just not thinking about that anymore? I'm just going to do this leadership stuff?
I was trying to do what I had to do to be right with God.
Yeah, I see. Yeah. And maybe the more you do, the more you'll understand. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I ended up helping in the kids' kingdom. So I was one leading the Bible studies now for the kids that was my age.
What was that like? What was that like to be in charge of that?
It was scriptured.
Yeah.
You just
follow the plan.
Follow the plans. They gave you a list, a sheet, and it was just how you interacted with the people. And when I would have to do these classes, it would be like the scripture and stuff. You would ask questions, and some of the questions that's deeper dive. These questions you should not be asking somebody.
Oh, yeah.
It's, have you ever experienced sexual with someone? So
you're a high school student right now?
I might have been a senior, maybe.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. You're like, these are the questions they want me to ask, and it's not my fault. I mean, it says it. It says it here. I'm supposed to ask this, right? Wow. Yeah.
And if you see other videos, so they would ask you to write down some stuff. And it's supposed to be when they tear it up. But sometimes the leaders did not tear that stuff up.
Oh, they collected it.
And they would share it with other leaders.
Wow.
And they would like mark it down to this stuff that you did. And I found that out deeper.
Yeah.
Because years ago, and you can find it on YouTube, there was a 2020 special. And this is when I was thinking, like, what? This is a cult? And it was really a deep dive into this church. And there are worse churches, but this one is damn close.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if you could, or I could, look that up. Maybe we can put it in the show notes or something, that for people who are like, I want to know more about that.
Yeah, we can
find it. But let's move your story forward in terms of, you are trying to do right by God. You are trying to do the thing, right? You are trying to do the things. When did you start going, you know what? I don't know that this is it.
We about same age. So every weekend, what did teenagers like to do at that time? Go to the arcade.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Heck yeah. Go to the arcade. We had one called Aladdin's Castle. Oh, man, I was there all the time.
Well, our place was called Smitty's. It was on a street called Telegraph. And it was a burger joint not too far. So one day, we're going in. So me and one of the other guys, don't get me wrong, we did kind of like each other. Mm-hmm. But none of us said anything.
Arcade's the excuse to go, though, right? And hang out. Yeah.
So we ended up going anyway.
Yeah.
You know, I paid my way, he's paid his way and stuff like that. So it wasn't like, whatever, But then I think he ended up telling somebody else in our group. The other guy ended up telling his discipleship leader. And that ended up getting to a big thing.
Like you got in trouble for that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you put double dates only.
Oh, okay. That's a big rule.
You was not double dating. So after that, they ended up having a meeting with me, my discipleship leader, and I think the pastor's wife also was there at the meeting.
You're called on the carpet here, right? You're like,
Yeah,
and you're by yourself, and there's these two other adults, so you're already outnumbered.
I think it was more than two, but it was
yeah. It's like
two.
you're it's like going to court or something.
Yeah. So they was like, "Do you understand what you did was wrong?" I said, "I will hang out with my brother in Christ. What is wrong with that?" And so they was like, "That is a sin. You let the devil get a foothold in your life." So I was like, "Are you crazy?" So they was like, "Because you don't understand, we're gonna have to relinquish all of your titles. You are no longer the leader of the youth, because we cannot have anybody that is struggling like that to lead other women."
How long have you been doing that work?
Couple years.
Yeah. So I went to the arcade with another guy. There were supposed to be more people. It ended up being the two of us. All of that work for years has now been stripped away from you. Wow.
You could be social with other people, but they really wanted you to just be friends with people in that church.
You're not given the official responsibility from the church anymore because we're not sure we can trust you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did start hanging out with other people, and I even started hanging back with some of my friends, so I kind of left alone because of the church. And they were so happy. You find at that church, you go. But I still was going on the side because I'm like, I don't want to leave the church. I don't want to leave God. I was living a double life. I was dating somebody secretly that's not part of a church, and it came up because I got pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
And then
how did the church react to that? That's what I want to know.
Oh, they were mad. They were very angry, but they still said to me to stay in the church. But I had to go with the deeper Bible, another set of Bible studies and other things. And eventually I said, I'm leaving.
Did you leave because of social reasons, or did you leave because it wasn't making sense reasons, or was it both?
That time probably was social reasons.
Yeah. Because
I was still a heavy religious person. I just went somewhere else. Mm-hmm. Well, after I left that church, I just started experimenting, going to different churches and stuff. I had a friend that was Hindu. I went to that church. Buddhist. I went to that. The Nation Islam, whatever. And then eventually I settled years later in a small Baptist church because it was near my house. Mm-hmm. And the people seemed pretty nice when I went there.
Okay.
It was very small. And unlike the evangelical church, they had several scriptures they would keep pointing throughout the service. In the Baptist church, they'd take one scripture and they dissect that one scripture for an hour, 2 hours, whatever. Mm-hmm. But I ended up moving my way in this church too, where I would be on the pulpit. So I would do the announcements. I worked with the sick and shut in. I worked with the soup kitchen. I ended up running the soup kitchen in the end.
Wherever you go, Kellie, your leadership skills are happening. That's what I
don't even know why. I don't even know why they think that I'm good enough. I wanted to do the announcements.
I felt good though, right?
I feel really good. Yeah. I will say two things. I still think that he's a good guy.
Wait, who's a good guy? Who's a good guy?
The pastor of the small church, of the small Baptist church. He got a lot of backlash. This was after I left, but he actually married a lesbian couple when he legalized it. And a lot of people left the church. I had already left for another reason.
Mm-hmm. It's a good reminder that no matter where you go, there's good people, there's not good people, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I got diagnosed 2005 with bipolar. So I was at this church, and I remember, I don't believe in the Bible too much, but the demon was in the man, and they excommunicated the demon. They went into the pigs.
Yeah.
I remember hearing that story and thinking, oh my God, I have demons. That's why it's not bipolar, this is demons. And my pastor, I talked to my pastor after church. He was listening this to me clearly right now. Don't believe that.
He said, don't believe that?
He said, get your mental health, get your therapy, get your medication.
Good on him, man.
Yeah.
Use the other tools, not just,
well,
here's a verse.
He was like, no. He was like, no. You go and you get your help.
Good. That's great.
Get your therapy, medication, whatever you need. And he was a strong man. He was like, don't you ever talk about, getting the excommunicate demons and stuff. That was biblical talk. This is real life.
Oh, I love it. I actually love hearing it that way. You know, that's biblical talk. That sounds like that's ancient. That's wow. Anyway, keep going. Yeah.
Yeah. Now his
I actually love
brother is a senator who actually spoke, was it last year at the Keith Ellison. That's
Minnesota.
That's my pastor's brother.
Come on, really?
Yeah.
Man, I really like Keith Ellison.
Yeah. So
I've heard him live. He's
that's his brother.
Anyway. That's so cool. What a connection.
But he's still an amazing guy.
Yeah.
You know, and so I think his brother's Muslim. I know one of them is Muslim.
Yes, yeah.
And
Keith
so they have
Keith is, I think.
And he actually comes.
I'm saying his first name like I know him. I don't know him. Okay, he doesn't know me.
Yeah. I don't know him like that either.
But I was at my first American Atheist conference in Minneapolis last year, and he was the key speaker, and it was about we don't have to believe the same things to fight what we need to fight right now.
And it's true. Yeah. He's actually come to the church and spoke to us as well. Here I am doing all this stuff for the church, and so a lot of the time it would be me and the pastor working on projects. So his wife comes to me. So I left church. His wife came to me and was like, I don't know who you think you are.
Uh-oh.
But you need to stop hanging around my husband all this time.
So, yeah, this has totally changed the story all of a sudden.
So I'm like, what? And I'm like, I'm just trying to think what I'm doing for the Lord. I'm not paying attention to this man. You know, because I'm always helping. As you know, Sister Kellie doing this and this. I'm doing all this stuff. I'm just trying to be closer to God. And so my pastor wants me to do. I'm not thinking anything about this man and stuff like that. Whatever, you know. So that really hurt me.
Yeah,
so I don't believe
to be accused. Yeah,
that's really what made me leave the church.
Yeah,
but I still was religious. So I ended up getting the job I have now. When I got the job, I ended up working so much that I couldn't time to go to church.
Yeah.
2 or more people gather together. That's church. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do something different. And I just would have me and another friend. We just sit at our lunchtime and would read scriptures and would talk and listen to music and stuff. And that was my church.
Yeah.
So one day I'm sitting here and I went to sleep. I'm watching something on YouTube. What that video is, I have no idea.
You drifted off.
But I drifted off. But I wake up and it's Penn and Teller bullshit on there.
Yeah, Penn and Teller. Great. I see where this is going.
So basically they're doing a magic act of the Passover. And at the locusts and it's, this is cool. And so then, bing, the firstborn, put the blood.
Mm-hmm.
They the blood, they die. And I'm like, wait.
Like, what the hell's going on here, right?
I'm like, why did God kill the firstborn and he mad at the Pharaoh? What did the babies have to do with being mad at the Pharaoh? And then you research further and realize that he hardened his heart and Pharaoh freed him. So
yeah. So you're seeing the puppet master here. I'm going to harden this person's heart.
And then I started looking and researching. And then my oldest, she came to me and was like, Ma, I got something to tell you, Ma. I'm starting to believe in God. And then she started sharing me stories about how it was so many religions before the Bible.
Wait, you said your oldest? So this is your daughter saying, hey, here's what I've been learning.
She learned it. She put up a lot of stuff about these ancient books about the virgin birth and other things that was way before the Bible.
Was this pretty open from you? Like, hey, tell me more? Or how did you respond to that, to hear that from your daughter?
I was like, I didn't want to say anything to you either because I was starting to have doubts myself.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, yeah, my God, so loving. Why is children dying of starvation? And this, this, and this, and this. And why is this? But I went through a whole thing. Well, maybe God created everything, but then he left it like a deist kind of point of view. I went through that. And then at my job, I just happened, I don't know how, but I happened to meet an actual atheist, Satanist, and a Wiccan. And that's where I started hanging out at my lunch.
That sounds like a joke, you know, a Wiccan, an atheist, and a Satanist walking to lunch.
But did y'all all go to a bar?
Exactly. Go to the bar.
But that's who I was hanging out with.
So you're having some real conversations, and it's not threatening, and it's just, hey, what do you think? And I even love how you said, I've met my first actual atheist, right?
Actually, I take that back. It was not.
But you know what I'm saying? Like we're afraid of that word. And the truth is, everybody listening, you've all met atheists. I met an actual atheist.
I will go back. My grandma, one of her friends, was an atheist. And this was really amazing because he was atheist since the 60s or something.
Oh,
decades. Black. Yeah. And he was a chemistry science teacher, amazing smart man. Mm-hmm. And I remember, funny kid I am, I was like, Grandma, do you think he like you? And my grandma was like, I can't talk to nobody that don't love the Lord. Mm-hmm. And I remember saying, Grandma, what do you mean? And she said, he's an atheist. I said, well, what's that? He worshiped the devil.
Exactly. And that's what a lot of people think. Last year, I can't remember when Atheist Day is. It's
March 23rd, because that is.
All right, I knew it was right around there.
It's also my granddaughter's birthday, so I'll never forget that.
So I put it out there for the first time on social media. Hey, did you know it's, Atheist Day, and congratulations, an atheist. And if you know me, you know that I am empathetic. You know that I am positive. You know that, anyway, it was just kind of like a statement. And I'll tell you the response I got. You worship the devil? Did it say anything about that? It didn't say anything.
We don't believe in him either.
That's what's funny too about what you just said about a Satanist, right? And how the misconception there of people are like, wait, so you worship Satan?
Definitely not.
Well, just like I was mayor of hell, and I know you're interviewing Steve soon.
Yeah, the mayor. Yeah,
he's also mayor of hell.
Next week, Friday.
That's right.
But fun fact: my great grandmother lived right outside of hell.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she had a farm right outside of hell. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So I spent many summers.
Listeners, Hell, Michigan.
I spent many summers in hell.
In hell.
And it does freeze over.
So it does. Kellie, hey, let's go back. So you said you started having conversations with a variety of people is what it sounds like, right?
Yeah.
And is that when you were kind of like, I guess, it sounds like it started with a conversation from your daughter to kind of like, you were already internally maybe having some thoughts. Would this be the first time you're actually saying words like, I don't know about that?
I said it to myself.
You said it to yourself, okay?
Before, yeah. I don't.
So then you meet a Wiccan, a Satanist, an atheist, and we
went to a bar.
So we went to you literally went to a bar. Okay, so this isn't a joke. So tell us about the bar, and then I want you to connect to where things are today.
It's a bar in Greeley called Starters, and we would go there sometimes after work or something, or on our off day or something, because we kind of got close and hanging out. And one of them, the people in the group, the Wiccan, I'm going to have her on my show.
And what show is that?
Well, I have two shows. This is called the Alternative Faith Discussions.
So Alternative Faith Discussions would be, hey, do you know a Wiccan? Well, here's what the Wiccans are. This is what they do, right? Okay.
Or anybody else that decided to leave that mainstream Abrahamic religion, and they decided that this is the way to go.
So the second show is the one I was on.
Yes.
Tell our listeners about that.
Secular Activism Unfiltered. And this is podcast. It's supposed to be weekly, but sometimes I have 4 episodes in a week. Sometimes I have none. It just depends on when the guests are available. Yeah. But I just talk to people who are activists doing something to make a difference in the community. And some people are not going. It might be a podcast they're doing. It might be helping out in the local community, them speaking up on something. And I talk to them and see how kind of like you, how they got to where they are now.
Well, and what I like about what you're doing, we don't have a church bulletin, okay? We don't have a church bulletin that says, here's all the things our church is doing, right? And the truth is, people don't know the kinds of things that secular activists, like, man, I'm embracing that word for the first time, I guess. Secular activists like ourselves we do care about the world. We want to make the world a better place.
And I've had a few, like I had Dr. Kip Davis on, he doesn't consider himself an activist, but he's a biblical scholar. who no longer believes. And so we dissected slavery, chattel slavery, and biblical slavery. And it's something that's important.
Let's go ahead and draw that connection from a bar to now.
After the Penn and Teller, Oren Raw came on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And so he did his talk. I listened to the talk.
So this is all on the same YouTube channel.
Same YouTube. No, you know how you watch the video and it loops to another video.
Yeah, it automatically goes, hey, here's another. Yeah,
so I'm like, what the hell? Why this atheist shit come on?
That's right. How'd I
so
stumble
Raw
on this?
comes on, and after, I don't remember what this talk was about exactly, but there were two black women that raised their hands. And they were like, why don't you believe in God? And basically the question of that scenario. And he says, as a black woman, why do you worship God? And he tormented you into slavery over 400 years. Mm-hmm. Ooh, this white man
let me ask you a
that
question.
Looked like an old rocker band.
Ra,
he's the leader of the rock
hair,
band.
Yeah.
He's the leader of a rock band. Just said, I said, damn, yeah, why am I worshiping this God? Mm-hmm. Ooh. And then I started getting next. It was like the call-in show, the ACA show.
I love the ACA shows. That was definitely a route for me too.
Talk Heathen, Truth Wanted, Atheist Experience. They also had Godless Bitches. After watching the ACA and stuff like that, and then the Friendly Atheist, he did a Bible thing. He actually read the whole Bible. And went from Genesis to Revelations. So I ended up, that was actually my church eventually, where I would get up in the morning and I would watch his show, watching the Thinking Atheist, watching his show. And all of a sudden, Mandisa.
Yeah.
So I'm looking up. Now, I had seen Dragnet and Phil Session and as guests on some of the call-in shows, but they didn't really have any talk about black non-believers. This was 2020. This is in the middle. It was middle COVID, and also went through being diagnosed with uterine cancer and went through the treatment of that. So I was down with cancer, but it was also that for me as well.
So there's a lot going on in 2020.
Yeah, it was late 19 when I started going through my problems. But I'm okay now.
I'm so glad to hear that. Yeah. Sounds like seeing Mandisa was a moment for you.
And I was like, a black woman. Mm-hmm. And then it's actually an organization.
Organization that's been around for 15 years.
Yeah. So I ended up immediately looking on the website.
Black Non-Believers is the organization that you were looking up.
It was an event. It was called, they just do it every October. It's called Women of Color Beyond Belief. And it's in Chicago. You know, we're in Michigan.
That's not too far.
I do train.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Take the Amtrak.
Yeah, the Amtrak. Yeah. It's cool, smooth.
You can jump right off of that thing and be downtown. It's so cool. Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. So I'm like, hey, this is perfect. I'm like, oh, this is bad. I'm like, bad. So I go meet up. So I end up signing up for the conference. But I said, okay, I'll pay Friday. Or when I get paid, I'll pay then. I get an email from her saying, I see that you have wanted to attend the conference, and then you know that there are a few scholarships available. If you want to come, everything will be covered except transportation to get here. I said, well, thank God.
No doubt.
I said, definitely I want to come. I bring in my youngest with me, so that they wanted to be with me that weekend. Yeah. And so when I went there, man, some of the women, there were some of the phenomenal men. I also met Cynthia McDonald as well that same weekend.
So Cynthia McDonald, Mandisa Thomas. I mean, you're seeing some heavy hitters.
I met Dan Barker.
Or the Freedom from Religion Foundation. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was there also. A few other people. Because it was not only black women, but it was allies too. And then some of the women, it was an Hispanic lesbian couple that spoke. It was a couple of the Middle Eastern women who spoke. A few women that actually were from Africa. And the sad thing is some of these women, even though this is not that long ago, some of these women, if they were open about being atheists, they could be put to death. Mm-hmm. Even then, even now. Mm-hmm. So when I left that conference, I said, I'm no longer going to be silent. And I ended up posting pictures in the conference, I actually had a shirt that said, "The Bible is a book read to kids on Sundays."
I'm sure you got some reaction from
I did.
So is this, would you call this your angry atheist phase, or just more like, I'm excited to be saying something?
I'm excited to be saying something. I'm not even angry, because how can I get mad at anybody?
Yeah.
Because they thought they were doing what was right.
Just like you did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I started thinking like, damn, I made my kids go to church and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All that time.
I did too.
Forced my kids to go to church.
And so today you're with Michigan Atheists as a treasurer.
Yes. Yes.
And the Black non-believers just celebrated a very important event.
Yes.
And
15 years.
15 years. 15.
Yes.
So 2011.
Me and Black non-believers are twins.
Oh, cool.
She's implemented January 21st.
January
yes.
21st. So
that was excellent.
How did Black non-believers celebrate their 15th birthday?
We did a live stream. We're going to celebrate all year.
Mm-hmm.
We did a live stream that I kind of helped produce and helped organize and set up. It was supposed to be just a birthday stream for me, but then I said, well, let's collaborate to Black non-believers with my birthday. So I had my own thing on a separate thing, but we celebrated mine. So basically I had several people from the community. So we had Secretary, Matt Dillahunty. So those are the people that were on our little live stream. And it was kind of hard for us to get more people because they had the line Skep Talk with Forrest and Erica. And you know how they get. And I think that day they were on the show for like 8 hours.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Hey, Kelly, you hear that? I hear some music. It's time.
I know.
Yes, it's time for the Skeptic of the Show.
We think it's real important to question what you know. Question what you know. So before you leave the podcast, it's a Skeptic of the Show.
Kelly, I love that you actually picked it today. A lot of times I pick the quote, but you're like, I got an idea. And so here we go. This comes from Langston Hughes. I dream a world where man, no other man will scorn, where love will bless the earth and peace its paths adorn. I dream a world where all will know sweet freedom's way, where greed no longer saps the soul, no avarice blights our day. A world I dream where black or white, whatever race you be, will share the bounties of the earth, and every man is free. Where wretchedness will hang its head, and joy like a pearl attends the needs of all mankind. Of such I dream my world. Kelly King. Man, I'm loving that. What made you pick that one?
Because it still resonates for today.
Yeah.
It's still something that we're still looking for. Maybe one day it'll happen for the future, but as of right now, I don't know.
I listened to your most recent show, or a recent show with Cynthia.
Yeah, that was my,
And that
at the time, it's my recent,
Yeah, when I was reading that, I was just like, that's what I was thinking of, was about reparations and facing our history and making things right, and really dreaming of not just dreaming of that world, but making that world.
Yeah. And like what, I just went through a 2-part series with In Person where we're going to both of the Holocaust and of the African American Museum and looking at the similarities of how they were treated and everything. I think that's very important. But the sad thing is that the Jewish did receive some kind of compensation for their treatment. We never did. The Japanese did. We never did.
Correct.
So
yeah.
when I looked at how I ended up doing a calculation, it's been about 161 years for slavery. And then to save it to now. And so I'm sitting here thinking, it was 400 years we were enslaved.
Right. And the echoes after slavery ended, that kind
Jim
of
Crow laws.
exactly. Yeah.
Right.
And the, I really loved how Cynthia brought up the GI Bill as well.
Yeah. I didn't even know about that.
Well, people point to that as an example all the time of how the middle class was built, because you have all these people coming back from World War II and now they're getting their homes, right? They're moving, they're getting their cookie cutter houses with white picket fences but that was not a dream that belonged to everyone apparently, right? It wasn't drawn up that way. And you could keep going. I mean, we could talk about redlining. And it's just a good reminder.
When you look at redlining, it was an area not too far from where I live. It stretched a couple of miles, and they called it the Burwood Wall. So it was for the white people who cannot afford to live on the other side of the 8 Mile. Because I see nothing from 8 Mile. You know, the main, the 8 Mile. Yeah. And so the other side of 8 Mile was the suburbs. So white people couldn't afford to live on the other side of 8 Mile. So they built a wall up for them to not be able to have interaction with the black people who's on the other side of that wall.
You're saying there was a literal wall. Man.
But yeah, it's a wall. Not too far, maybe a mile from me, it was a wall.
Yeah.
And it was that certain white people couldn't afford to live on the other side of 8 Mile because it was too expensive. So they stayed on this side, and they stayed in Detroit, and they ended up building a wall.
Thanks for sharing that. And, Langston Hughes being from a while ago and yet still as relevant today.
When I was a child growing up, I used to love reading and writing and things like that. And so I was resonated really big with the Harlem Renaissance. Mm-hmm. And when I found out a couple of years ago that he actually was a skeptic himself,
yeah,
I was like, man, I got so excited. Like, it was like my writing role model. And here he is, also a skeptic. No wonder why.
Isn't it fun when you find out like one of your favorite people is a skeptic?
Yeah. Yeah. Even if he had not figured anything, but the fact that he did not believe. And I was like, man, they didn't even talk about it. But I believe he also was queer as well.
He reminds me of a little bit like of James Baldwin too, as far as that.
And
the barriers he was breaking.
Yes. And they were hanging out. They both were skeptics and everything. So yeah, makes a lot of sense.
People are looking for community, right? And so this season 3 here of Skeptical Scott and Friends.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm leaning more into that community aspect, connecting others. Like season 1, season 2 was kind of about like my personal testimony, kind of like what we've done with you today, like different chapters. And yes, I had some interviews and stuff, but now this season is about connecting people. And that's why I'm really glad you're here, because a lot of us can think we're on our own.
Yeah.
When you have people from Ohio coming up looking for people, I mean, that should tell us something, right? All right. I got 2 questions. Sure. We heard about your baptism. I understand Michigan atheists do debaptisms, right? Can you explain, like, to the audience, what's a debaptism?
Oh, you'll love it.
Yeah. And then I wonder if you've ever done it yourself. One
thing that I will say before I get into that is that the Black non-believers basically was alone and did their own thing. They did not connect with the other groups. Mm-hmm. And because of the other leader and how her portrayal was of everything. And so I started connecting and networking with Michigan Atheist, with Sunday Assembly.
Sunday Assembly Detroit.
Yeah. Which Steve was a part of. And so Steve messaged me right soon, maybe not too soon after I became affiliate leader, and was like, hey, talking about the group and stuff like that. And he invited me. He wanted me to do a TED talk. I'm not doing that, but I will go to the events. And we end up meeting and going to a few of their little events.
Like social stuff?
Yeah, social stuff and stuff like that. So with Steve, he reached out to me first. He was like, welcome to community and stuff like that. So when I started going to Michigan Atheist, it was just going to an event to see what it was about and stuff like that, for us to be able to connect. And then eventually became where let's connect our meetings or events, because if I got 5 people, you got 5 people. Let's just do something together. Yeah. We get 10 people. And so that's where it started from. And then it started with me doing more and more with them. And so now I'm treasurer. Go figure. But the deep baptism, we have a board member. His name is James. And so Tony Jimmy. And so what we get a blow dart that's not plugged up. And somebody sits there. Anthony has a robe now that has backwards, upside down crosses and stuff. It's crazy.
I think I've seen a picture. Yeah.
Yeah. When you see my intro video later on, it'll be on there. Okay. And so he sits there.
In fact, that's right. That's where I saw it. Now I think about it. Yeah.
So the person sits in a chair and we'll say like a chant, here we are with this air getting rid of the evil baptism that caused you to make you a free person. Now, Anthony said something really cute and with logic and reason. I now get this baptism. You're now free and clear and smarter than when you were 5 seconds ago. Guaranteed to get you in heaven or your money back. So I'm paraphrasing, but it's something
sure. It's silly. It's fun. We've got a blow dryer going.
Yeah.
And yet, for some people, I mean, a lot of people laugh, right? They're like, this is great. But from my understanding, some people are like emotional.
Oh, we look on TikTok.
Yeah.
They are. We were seeing, but it's beautiful. Thank you. It's what we want. So now we get people, when they see those videos, the response video is negative. You got some people in the comments that were saying, ooh, they actually do that?
Yeah, like this is a beautiful thing. I want to strip this away from me.
But in the comments. And so I comment, we're going to be at Ann Arbor Pride next weekend. Come on, stop by.
Yeah. And I've seen, I was at Grand Rapids Pride.
Yeah, we were gonna try
which I know you're thinking of doing, which is, I hope that happens. But I saw some debaptisms going on there. I don't know who was leading it, but I do remember seeing an emotional response from at least one person that almost that they were carrying it. They didn't want it anymore.
I got somebody that actually was crying after they got it done.
Yeah. So, but I do appreciate the debaptism. I think that's hilarious. So, I guess let's go ahead and wrap things up then, Kellie. I want to know, is there anything you want our listeners to know about you, about your secular activism?
I'm going to talk about it on 2 other podcasts as well, but the lack of diversity in this community. Mm-hmm. And I hate to say it, but it is still cis-dominant white men. Yep. we need to get out of that space.
Yeah.
And we need to, and a lot of times with Black non-believers, our events, we have a revival of reason that goes on.
You said a revival of reason?
Yes. It's going to be June 12th through the 14th. And it's a conference that we have that not many people attend. Mm-hmm. We have the Black people, a few allies that attend, but it's, even women of color was not big enough for me. But if you can go to the NeoCons and the Baja Cons and other conferences, support us as well. Donate to us as well. We can't run without any financial stability and everything. And I'm doing this volunteer. Michigan Atheist and Black non-believers. I get nothing. And many times I'm up days, nights, planning stuff, and then you have an event and people register to go and they don't even show up. Because little snow hits the ground. We're from Michigan. Snow hits the ground. It ain't a blizzard.
We're Michigan tough, aren't we? Come on.
Yeah. That's
yeah. So that's what I'm hearing. And listeners, look at the show notes. Show some support today. You're going to get some from me for sure, but I can't wait to see you because I spend now some of my summer in Canada.
Okay.
I've got a Canadian.
What part?
It's across from Port Huron, so we're not talking Windsor, but I met Steve in Windsor not too long ago. There's a little Italy. I mean, my last name, if you know my last name, definitely Italian. Yeah. It was a special place to see Little Italy. But you're going to see me more on the east side of the state. So I can't wait to see you. Kellie, I really appreciate you and I appreciate the work you're doing. And I just appreciate your heart too for others.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for joining us today on Skeptical Scott and Friends.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to Skeptical Scott and Friends. Find all of our episodes and social media channels at skepticalscott.com. You can support the show at buymeacoffee.com/skepticalscott. Thank you for the virtual high five. Drop the supernatural, embrace the rational, believe in as many true things as possible. See you every first and third Friday. May skeptical thoughts be with you. Cheers.